is the Alchemy Kitchen, and in this video I'm going to show you the perfect beginner blacksmithing project, and that's making a small hook, decorative hook. But before I get started, got my dog in here with me. Give him a nice Parma ham bone so he will not go crazy running around everywhere, hopefully, and knock shit over. You'll see. I was hoping he'd go into that corner. Alright, so we're going to do this the super simple way with very minimal tools, just the necessary things that you either already have or you can buy for very cheap. Last time I did this, when I first did it, I used a Butane Torch. It was a cheap plastic one, so after having it on for a long time, it crapped out. So I got a bit nicer one. The attachment was €13, 15 bucks. And then I went to a different store today that's usually more expensive, and they had the same thing for €10. Gas, it's special gas cans that fit this one, that's what sucks. These were like 2 of them for €10, so €25, give or take. You have your torch. You can use butane. This is butane and propane. This one burns pretty hot. 1,800 Celsius. So it's hotter than the butane torch I was using. So it should go pretty quick. I'm using nails to make these hooks. I use nails like up to this size. This is about, where's totally messed up, 4 inches. What I'm actually going to do for the sake of this video is to do it quicker, and since I'm not going to be using this little makeshift fire brick forge, I'm just going to use the open flame. I'm going to use a smaller nail. This is a pallet nail. It's about 3 inches, a little bit thinner, so it's a lot quicker to work with and to heat up. But I mean, with the torch, and you put inside some way to contain the heat, like a fire brick, I was able to heat up like a ½ inch, or I think it was about ½ inch, 3/4 inch or ½ inch rebar. So it'll work. It's a bit slow. I don't want to do that because now I have this thing for like other uses, for wood burning, and also when I want to do twisting, and I just want to heat a small portion of something. That's what this is for. So I don't want to really waste this on nails today. Just for the sake of how to do this build, I'm going to use this. Normally I'd throw them in my forge, and I throw like 6 in at a time. As one's heating, you can work on them and rotate. You work a lot faster, more economical that way on fuel. So we'll do the small nail. I've made some already with these. Got them here somewhere, and that's what it looks like. What I'm going to do today is something I haven't done before, and I'm going to try to bend this part flat back so it can be mounted under a shelf. It's screwed in like under the shelf to hold coffee cups, because my cupboard is cluttered. Too many coffee cups. Alright, so first thing, I'm going to have all your tools ready. I'll try to mostly work with this hammer, but if it's not staying hot long enough, it's taking too much time, I may switch to the heavier hammer. Alright, but I'll try to do it like minimalistic. And a lot of times it all works until you try to videotape it. For bending, you're going to need 2 pairs of pliers would be great. Or if you have a vise, that's awesome. If not, you can use pliers. You're going to need a pair of pliers anyways to hold the nail. So use channel locks, use pliers, whatever, anything that'll hold it. Bending, you can do it with the hammer. You can do it, over a curve or a corner and then tap it out. That works. If you want really precise bends, there's bending jigs, which you can make. I found a really cool way to do it, so I'm going to post a video. I'll show you when I do the bending. First thing is anything on the surface where I'm going to be hammering that's going to rattle around and fall off, I want to move, which I had done, but then I started moving shit around to demonstrate. Before I get started, one little piece of advice is if you do decide to make some kind of fire brick, micro forge, or oven, whatever, to use with a torch like this, make sure the torch has holes towards the back end, not the front. You don't want to cover those holes. And also you want the inside, you don't want it too far in like that. It should be, the hole's not covered, but you want to try to get it like flush with the chamber inside. Because if it's too far inside, you're going to end up melting the tip of your torch. I won't be using that today. We'll make it easier, but I'll just show you it's possible just with this for something small and simple like this. So we'll go ahead and fire it up. I'm going to start with the nail head first. That's how I like to do it. So I just want about this much, if I can, to get it red hot. Best to hold it at like the tip of the blue flame. That's the problem with cameras, it probably changes the color so it's hard to see exactly the color you want, but red hot. That's about good. I'm going to move this torch off of the surface because the hammering is going to make it fall over. And we're safe. And we're going to flatten that head. Something like that. I want to get it a little bit thinner. You'll tell by the sound. Once it gets too cold to work with, the sound changes. That's when you want to heat it back up, otherwise you're going to just damage the metal. Go a little bit more. Not quite hot enough today. And it's not hot enough. I don't know if you can see it on the camera. The end, there's like a split between it. I want to kind of like flatten that all together. Alright, that's good. So now I'm going to just kind of flatten out the roundness of the rest of the shape. So I'll grab it by the head. And as it's cooling down but still a little warm, that's a good time to straighten things out. Alright, it's good enough. Now what I'm going to do, this is optional, is I'm going to put a twist at the very tip. Easiest way to do this is get some scrolling pliers. Something like this that's rounded at the end. You just grab it and twist it. So I got to heat it up at the tip. Go, and I'm just going to straighten that out with the hammer. Alright, next we're going to, at this point you got two options. You can put the hook in already, the bend, or you can do a twist. We'll go ahead and do a twist first. I'm going to use just two pairs of pliers. Normally I'll use the anvil, or the vise. So I'm going to move the camera. And what I want to do is, I don't want it twisted at here. I want it more like in the middle. So I'm going to try to heat mostly just the middle. Also helps where you grab it with the pliers. So I try to pinch off where I don't want it to bend at the tip. grab and twist. Just be careful if it starts getting too cold, this will snap. Take your time. Don't force it. These snap easy on the smaller nails. You'll feel it be harder to twist. That means I gotta heat it up some more. Normally I can do it the first go, but trying to angle it in the camera. It's already muggy today, man. So this little torch is making this room hot. I'm starting to sweat. Yep, just twist till you like the way it looks. That one came out, not my best. Of course, because I'm putting it on video. Alright, so I'm going to heat it up a little bit more to straighten it out on the anvil. Like I said, especially a small piece like this, it's very easy to just bend it with pliers. But I'm going to show you this trick I learned with just using a piece of pipe to make a bending jig. So I want to heat around here. I'm going to make the hook, I'm trying to keep in mind the hook's not too big, good size to hold a coffee mug. I'm going to clamp this against the side of here. I'll show you in there. That I gotta work quick before it cools, and I bend it. That gives me my general shape, and then I can fine tune it with a hammer. A little bit bigger gap than I wanted. Let me see if I can fix it. That's exposed metal. You can, as long as you don't keep doing it back and forth, bending it, don't stress the metal and make it break. You can reshape. You can fix mistakes. You can undo. So I'm going to actually just do this with a hammer. It's easier for me. Not my prettiest one. I'm doing it fast in awkward positions. It's a hook. So now the next step is I'm just going to bend this flat back 90 degrees. Real simple. All right, now you want to use kind of an edge of something, or in the vise and just bend it. That's the easiest way. Or a pair of pliers and bend it. I'm going to hammer it. Hammer it over the edge. Almost there. I'm just going to get that bend a little bit more nicer. It's friggin' hot. Well, the window's closed. I like doing this outside. Even then it's hot. But even with this little torch, it's... I'm just straightening stuff out. At this point, a bit of just corrections like that. And that's getting really cold fast. So that's one thing you got to watch for. With a huge propane tank too, the same thing. Longer it's running, it starts getting really cold. Colder it gets, it starts screwing up. It doesn't work right. So you either got to run it in short terms or put some kind of heat source on it. It's not the prettiest. It's a bit sloppy, but gives you an idea. Now, after you heat it up to red hot, you can throw it in some water, and that's going to give it a pretty cool, kind of blackens it. Before I do that, though, I like to drill the hole first. I don't want the metal's going to be softer, a lot easier on your drill bit. So that's the final step, is just drill a hole in this part here. And I'll show you some tips on that too to hopefully you save some drill bits, because I broke a ton of drill bits first trying this shit out. Learned a few tricks to make it a little easier. And once I drill the hole and I heat it up again, I can, if I see anything I want to fix, that's really easy to do. So I'm going to let this cool down a little bit naturally, not with water, because that's going to harden it. So we'll come back in a few minutes and drill the hole. Then we'll harden it and we'll be done. Hook's cooled down. Normally I'm going to put some scrap wood under it so I don't drill into my surface. in this case, it's a pretty small one, so I'm going to use a 2.5 millimeter bit. You want to use a bit for metal. Use a sharp bit. And especially the smaller bits, they're super easy to break. This is where having a drill press would be awesome, but normal hand drill will do it. I've done probably 40 pieces. Broke a lot of bits at first, and last time I did like 20 in a row without breaking a bit. So the trick is put it on low power and put the speed low. You're going to see I'm not even going to pull the trigger full way. I'm just going to go at a slow speed. You want to put good pressure down. Not too hard, that's where you'll break the tip, but straight down and a decent amount of pressure. And you want to see chips coming away. If nothing's happening, you're going to burn out the bit. Another tip. If you have to drill a bigger hole, start with a small one first and then move up. That's why I like to hammer these out pretty thin. It's a lot easier on the bit. There are ways to do it hot, where you hammer a punch through it, but I don't have the punches yet. I ordered some. I won some on an auction, and it's not necessary for this. It's kind of like a lot of extra work, in my opinion, when I can just do it this way. But since I don't have a center punch, I'm just going to use a screwdriver, because your bit's going to kind of wander around, and you might get too close to the edges, especially in a small piece like this. So I'll try with a screwdriver. Yeah, to get a kind of pilot to start this out with. So I'm going to put not too hard, but good pressure down and go slow. And I want to see those metal chips coming out like it's doing. Where's my arms in the way? And if I start getting stuck where nothing's happening, I don't need to now, but I'm going to do it anyways just to show you. I don't want to get the bit too hot. That's going to screw it up. So, they just put on the bit. Some WD-40 will work. I don't have any cutting oil. Or all-in, what's it called? All-in-one oil. And there. Now I'm through. You don't need a vise to hold it. It's just because the shape of this made it easier. If there's any rough edges, you can file them out. But that's good. I kind of warped a bit doing that. So what I'm going to do is heat this up. And you see, it's probably the ugliest look I've made so far. Because, of course, when you do it on camera, everything that can go wrong does. But it will work, I believe. I'm going to heat it up again one more time. Get it red hot. Fix a few of these little, it's not very straight. I want to fix that a little bit. Flatten this back out where I drilled it. From using that screwdriver to punch it, I warped it. And then I'm going to just dunk it in some water to harden it and get a nice finish. It gets a really cool black finish that way. Not necessary. I mean, I have some here I didn't do that with. You see it's more of a kind of a grayish color. I still have to drill the holes in these. Once I do that, I'll probably heat them up, and when I have the forge going, put them all in there and throw them in some water. Get that nice black look. Just a matter of what you like. Gonna heat this up, straighten it out, and quench it. I'm not digging that bend angle. Let me see if I can fix that a little bit. A little bit better. So let me just heat the whole thing up. Dunk it in some water. Normally I'd straighten it out some more on the spine, but since it's going to be hanging this way, it doesn't matter. Into the water. And there we have it. So, got to make about 10 more of these to hang my coffee cups. Hopefully they'll come out a little bit better than this one. This twist is nasty. It's not very good. Still looks cool. I mean, it's rustic looking. Primitive. It's not as straight as possible. But this is such, these smaller nails are really easy to work with. You just got to be careful when it's cold to not move it too much because you will snap it, especially on the twisting. But yeah, I mean, that takes me a lot longer this way, after upgrading to a proper forge, stuff like that. Now I'm realizing, okay, this is not the easiest way, but it's possible. That was the point of this video. Next time I fire up the forge, you'll see I'm getting better at this and faster, so I can knock out quite a few at one session. So I'll kind of go through how I do that. And, I try to basically learn something new every day at this stuff. Sometimes I'm just learning a technique, a hammering technique, whether it's drawing out or whatever, I'll practice those techniques, so they take practice. And sometimes you get better at it, sometimes it doesn't turn out the way you planned. That's how it is. But sometimes these weird things that happen that you don't want to happen can actually look cool. So that's it for this time. Hopefully tomorrow I can get some propane and we'll work with some bigger material, Bigger the nail, the bigger the hook. I've used quite a few things. The last ones I picked up are 210 millimeter. These were friggin' expensive. I have to find like a cheaper place to get them. German hardware stores are weird on their prices. So, but yeah, these make some pretty nice, fun, big hooks. Like this. And I still got it. I'm going to drill 2 holes in this one. But yeah. Also, can make these cool throwing spikes, like throwing knives out of these. But that's it. Thanks for watching. Hit like, hit subscribe, and stay tuned for some more videos on this kind of stuff.